Hey, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Mary Anything Within Reason. My voice is still scratchy. I do not know why. I apologize in advance, but there are a lot of questions, so let's get to them, shall we? I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm in New York right now, and it is stunningly beautiful. It's like the perfect summer day, so I hope that is the case wherever you are. All right, so first up, we have from Dyslexia DIY. Oh, hang on. Okay. Question. Could you please tell me about your uncle who worked for MIT? Did he really teach the Unabomber? What has happened in the past when Donald was told he is lying? All right. My great uncle John was my dad's and Donald's uncle. My grandfather's, I think, older brother. No, sorry, younger brother. And Uncle John was a very smart man. He was an inventor. He was, I believe, an electrical engineer. He had an advanced degree in engineering. He taught at MIT for many, I think, almost 5 decades. He never taught the Unabomber for a couple of reasons. One, if he had, he died before anybody knew that Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber. So my uncle would not have referred to him as the Unabomber. So there's that. And the second thing is that I believe Kaczynski was a mathematician. My uncle was not. And also Kaczynski never went to MIT. So it's it would be weird if somehow great Uncle John had managed to teach him. So that was an entirely fabricated story. I'm not sure if Donald knew he was lying. I think what he did is he conflated a story he had heard from Jeffrey Epstein, because guess what? It turns out that, at least as far as we know, Jeffrey Epstein took a math class with Kaczynski, who became the Unabomber, because Kaczynski taught at, I believe it was UCLA, and Musk took a course from him there. I'm sorry, not Musk. Wow. Speaking of conflating awful people, so sorry, Mr. Musk. Can't imagine why I would. Yeah. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein, I should say, allegedly took classes, and I think that's the story Donald got himself mixed up with. What's happened in the past when Donald was told he was lying, I don't think anybody has ever bothered to point it out to him. And also, he's always lying. It would be very tedious. You would not have no time to do anything else with your life except tell him he's lying. Gone hiking. Question. Do you think this administration will rendition homeless American citizens to places like Sudan? No, I think because that would be very expensive. And I think what's more likely is that they're going to criminalize them. They'll put them in psych hospitals, and then when room runs out, they'll criminalize them. Why? Well, because one, they think it makes them look tough, and two, that will enrich their friends who own private prisons. And it will justify the construction of more private prisons, because that's what we need in America. Criminalizing homelessness and building more private prisons. HTAZ 2010. Question. What is your favorite thing to knit? This is an embarrassing answer, because I'm not good at it, unfortunately. It's one of my goals in life is to knit a cable knit sweater. I love cables. They're so cool, but I am not good enough because I don't knit enough, and I don't knit consistently. So for the time being, my favorite thing to knit is scarves. I know it's sad, but hey, aspirations. Also, when you're friends with master knitters, it's just a little intimidating. I have to be honest with you. Okay, Motley Pizer, question. Did you see the article in the New York Times revealing Donald has skimmed hundreds of millions of dollars from a fund for modernizing America's arsenal of nuclear weapons to spend it on his new jet? Yes, I did indeed hear that. And there's literally no reason to think it's not true. But remember, the Republican Congress okayed this. $1 billion allocated for Pentagon spending is being diverted to pay for the retrofitting of the $400 million jet, which was gifted to Donald, not the United States of America, from Qatar. We are paying him $1 billion to make his $400 million 747 a $1.4 billion 747, because that is America now. It's despicable. It's also illegal, but nobody seems to care anymore. Carl, question. Once the Trump MAGA regime finally falls, can we get the Rose Garden back, and can we dynamite Donald's tacky ballroom? I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but, well, for those of you who don't know about the ballroom at all, Donald is allocating $200 million to build a White House ballroom. So exciting. It's going to be 900,000 square, sorry, 900, that would be very big. 90,000 square feet. I don't know about you, but I was thinking that we needed a ballroom, because so many of us are going to benefit from said ballroom. Yeah, it's just a grift. And because of that announcement, a lot of people have started referring to Donald as Donald Antoinette Trump, which, I mean, he's worse, quite frankly. As for the Rose Garden, for those who don't know, Donald has finally followed through, or I should say, achieved his, quite frankly, bizarre dream of ripping up the Rose Garden and replacing it with cement. It literally looks like a foundation that one would pour for a brick building. Like, it's not a garden anymore. It is, or I don't know, it's like it's going to be a skateboarding park or something. It is hideous. I don't understand. The White House belongs to the American people. And I think it's fair, if you become president of the United States, even if you shouldn't be, I think it's fair to allow you some leeway to put in certain kinds of furniture or decorations or stuff like that. But you should not be able to change it in fundamental ways. Like, why do you get to rip up a garden that is, it's the Rose Garden. We all know what that means. Why do you get to deface the property by putting up a 90,000 square foot ballroom, which I have no doubt is going to be grotesque? Because it's bad enough that he's turning the Oval Office into something that even Liberace would be horrified by. But that's temporary. The next guy, quite frankly, will come in and change those get rid of all the gold leaf, whatever. But like adding or taking away structures, that's permanent. Like, I'm not entirely sure why that's allowed. And yeah, I mean, with the ballroom, so like then $200 million are spent building this thing. How do you justify spending many, many more millions of taxpayer dollars tearing it down, right? There are just no rules anymore. Ellie, question. Since that horrible election night, I've been claiming that Donald and his administration are not sustainable. I feel right about that statement. Is it possible he'll make it to term? I don't. Obviously, there's no way to know. But it depends on what we mean. Do I think he'll be impeached and removed from office? No. Do I think he'll resign? Like, if he has a choice? No. Will there be some health event? I don't know. It's possible. I think that's probably the most likely scenario. Will the Republican Party come to its senses, or will he do something so egregious that the Republican Party doesn't want him around anymore? And will they invoke the 25th Amendment to remove him from office? No. But let's say he does leave office prematurely. Is it better to have President J.D. Vance? Like, I don't necessarily think it's worse. I don't necessarily think it's worse, but quite frankly, I don't think it's better. I mean, the only good thing about having JD Vance in power is that he's unelectable, right? But other than that, the same people will be pulling the strings who are now. Stephen Miller's not going anywhere. Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Elon Musk will probably come back into the fold. So yeah, I don't know. That's why it's more crucial than ever that the Democrats get their acts together. Fry Eitner, new member. Thank you so much and welcome. That's great. Steve, thank you so very much. Question. Hi, Mary. Hope you're feeling better and no more COVID. Thank you. I am feeling I just sound weird. I still don't know what's going on with my voice, but I think I've been, the first time I tested negative after having COVID was like 2 weeks ago. So I am definitely free and clear. So the question is, where do you think old Donnie will be buried? Maybe next to Mommy Dearest who fell down those steps. Hope soon. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay. So, it took me a second to figure out who Mommy Dearest was because there are so many of them in my family. But I'm guessing it's Ivana, Donald's first wife, who, for those of you who don't know, infamously, quite frankly, despite the fact that she and Donald had been divorced, I don't know, for 30 years, maybe 20, for a long time. Her children, I guess, had her buried at like the 19th hole. No, the 9th hole. The 19th hole is the bar. Sorry. They had her buried like in the back 9 at Donald's golf course in New Bedford, New Jersey, or Bedford, whatever it's called, which is insane. It's insane. A human being is buried at one of the holes in his golf course. So where is Donald going to be buried? I obviously I don't know. A golf course would be fitting. I was going to make a joke in such poor taste just now. Thanks, Steve. It's got me in a lot of trouble. Okay, let me regroup for a second. I doubt Donald has even thought about it. Why? Because he's incapable of grappling with his own mortality and probably thinks he's never going to die. So it's going to be up to his kids. That'll be interesting. Grubby Cat, question. What do you think the Donald next phase will go? What do you think the Donald next phase will go after next? Oh, I see. Medicare, Social Security, education, social welfare programs, infrastructure, etc. Well, they're going after all of those as we speak. Yep, they are in this way quite capable of multitasking. The Department of Education is being completely dismantled. This budget that just passed is defunding Medicaid and SNAP benefits. So those would be the social welfare programs. Medicare has also been infected. Sorry, what's wrong? I just got back from a trip, so I'm a little discombobulated. My apologies. Yeah, I believe they're going after Medicare. Infrastructure, they are doing things like, one, building more private prisons, which takes money away from other kinds of infrastructure that we need, like upgrading bridges and trains and stuff like highways and stuff like that. They are, instead of investing in clean energy, they're dismantling all sorts of clean energy programs to benefit things like the coal industry and the oil and gas industries. So yeah, they're going after everything all at once. They have not yet done anything, as far as I'm aware, explicitly to take away people's Social Security. But what they have done, and you did say SSA, not just Social Security. They are weakening is the wrong word. They are devastating the Social Security Administration. They are firing people right and left. A significant percentage of people of the workforce has been let go. So to all intents and purposes, people's Social Security benefits are being impacted because the infrastructure of the agency is being dismantled. So It's great and comprehensive. Lynn, question. Is it possible that Donald and his administration will find a way to block alternative media on the internet and prevent us from communicating and organizing against this growing fascist regime? Yeah, it's possible. Is it likely? Well, all right, there are a couple of ways to approach this issue. One is the degree to which it's dependent upon the people who own the platforms, right? Now, we've seen with corporate media and some social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook that they are willing to capitulate to a degree that is quite alarming and should not fill us with any kinds of confidence. But not everybody has yet. So I guess that's something for which we should be thankful. But also, I think some social media platforms are, I'm just going to use this analogy, even though it's not, I mean this in a specific way. So hopefully I'll be able to explain myself. Let's say that Twitter, social media platform created by, I guess, Jack Smith was his name, gets taken over by Elon Musk. Twitter's a monster under Elon Musk, right? Which makes Musk not even Dr. Frankenstein, the guy who bought out Dr. Frankenstein, right? So Twitter's Musk's monster. Well, as we've learned from the book Frankenstein and from modern American political history, people can't control their monsters. So I just don't think it's possible at this point. Like Musk tried mightily hard to turn Twitter, and it succeeded to agree in turning Twitter into a fascist cesspool. However, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. People are coming back to Twitter. People are trying to rebuild communities on Twitter. And I just think there's a point at which it becomes too big. Like, yeah, good luck taking over Google. YouTube has more share of viewership than every other media company combined, I think. Like you add Disney, Paramount, HBO, Apple, Amazon. YouTube has more viewers than all of those combined. I just don't think it's possible. I mean, I don't want to be, overly optimistic about these things, but I do think that, part of the problem, one of the reasons we're here is because we failed to regulate social media, but that can cut both ways too. So if I think there are reasons to be hopeful that they are not going to be able to change things that much. Lynn, super sticker. Thanks so very much, Lynn. That's awesome. Jess, welcome, new member. Thank you for that. Zaclina gifted 5 Maritime Media memberships. Thank you so very much. That's really generous of you. Thank you. Debid, Mary, why, how is gerrymandering allowed? Well, there's a question for our times. Well, in some states, for those, just to make sure we're defining our terms properly, gerrymandering is the process by which certain congressional district maps are drawn to favor one party or another. In other words, instead of just dividing up a state in equal segments according to population density, just Google Jim Jordan congressional map and you'll see a perfect example of what we're talking about. These maps look like something that you would draw on an Etch-a-Sketch if you were blindfolded and, and had nobody guiding you. They're insane. They're so clearly drawn to make sure that they get as many Republicans in one district as possible so a Democrat could never possibly win that congressional seat, right? Why is that allowed? Because it seems wrong, doesn't it? Well, unfortunately, in a state like Ohio, which is where Jordan lives, Republicans have a supermajority. Republicans control the state Supreme Court. So even if lawsuits are brought, which they are and have been, the The ruling will always be in favor of the Republican Party. And I'm afraid that that's going to continue to happen in red states. So, uh, just to give you an example of how out of control states that uh, have supermajorities of the state legislature, sorry, in which Republicans have supermajorities in the state legislature and a significant majority on the state Supreme Court. This is not relevant to gerrymandering. It's just an example of how far they can go to do whatever they want, right? In Ohio, uh, a man was in a restaurant and this is an actual case. He ordered boneless chicken wings, which sound awful, but hey, knock yourself out. The chicken wings he ordered, thinking they were boneless, had bones in them. He swallowed it, and it actually caused very, very serious damage to his throat, stomach. It was very bad medical situation. So he sued. It was a restaurant chain. And instead of owning it and saying our bad and settling with him, they appealed every decision. He won at every single level of the judiciary until it got to the state Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court, the Republicans have this ridiculous majority on the Supreme Court. It's very, very tilted. They ruled in the business's favor, saying that the man who ordered the boneless chicken wings should have known better. He had no reasonable expectation that chicken wings that were advertised as being boneless would indeed be boneless. But this Republican-dominated state Supreme Court wanted to rule in favor of businesses. And so they did. So it took years and God knows how much money. But this man who had won at every other, because it's obviously he should have won, he ended up losing everything. That's what Republicans do. So that's why they do it. And because they can. And how they get away with it because they can. So Democrats have to figure out a way to counter that in densely populated blue states like New York and California and Illinois and New Jersey. All right, Zella, thank you so very much for that. That's awesome. A comment. I just discovered Furball Farms Cat Sanctuary, providing a safe place for over 350 homeless cats in Faribault, Minnesota. Join their new YouTube live stream. Visit for sweet and furry emotional support members. That's fantastic. I love that. Everybody do that. So it's Furball Farms Cat Sanctuary in Minnesota. MN. Yeah, that's Minnesota. Okay, cool. Thank you, Zella. And thank you again. Bruce, question. What happens if Donald dies in office, Vance takes over? Yeah, it's that simple. J.D. Vance becomes president of the United States of America, and some other grotesquely sycophantic, fascistic Republican will become his vice president. And then having Democrats in the majority in the House of Representatives and having a Democratic Speaker of the House becomes kind of a matter of life or death at that point. I mean, it already is, but even more so. Lizzie Beth, thank you as always. A question. Is the White House not a listed structure? Can the outside appearance just be changed so very radically? You would think so. And again, it's not his property. But there are no rules. So who's going to say no? Or let me put it this way. If there is indeed an agency that controls such things and the agency says, no, you cannot do that. You cannot get these permits. It's a historical lab, whatever. What is Donald? Yeah, you stop me. You and what army? He's going to do whatever he wants to do. And what are the Republicans in Congress going to do? They're either going to do nothing or they're going to craft legislation to change things to allow him to do whatever he wants to do, which is the way things have been going. CBB. Question. Mary, we the people have screwed up a lot over the last 250 years. Yes, indeed, we have, white people. But we have always aspired to do better and have often done so. Future better times are not out of our reach, are they? No, of course not. Absolutely not. If I believe that, why would I bother? Why would you bother? We have It's like people, at Mary Trump Media, they don't do this because they don't believe, because they think it's hopeless, right? Like, you guys don't watch our videos because you think it's hopeless. It's never hopeless. So, of course, we can do better. We must always aspire to do better. And if we get enough people paying attention to what's going on, we will do better. The problem is we haven't ever done enough. So we're always at risk of backsliding. So next time we need to make sure that we do not just better, but we change things fundamentally so that they stay better. Hang on one second, guys. Sorry. Okay. So, sorry, just give me 1 second. Oops. Fun watching other people. I always enjoy that myself. All right. Christopher, comment. Mary, I'm beyond devastated that funds are being gutted for the Corporation of Public Broadcasting that has its NPR, PBS, and public radio stations. This is yet another example of 1930s Germany unfolding in Nazi America. Yes, it is honestly heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Especially if you think about the people who are going to be most directly impacted. Children, minority children, poor children, older people who are on limited incomes, people in rural areas. So why? I mean, I know that the misimpression has been given over the years by Republicans that things like public broadcasting and NPR are, part of the left-wing media cabal, which nothing could be further from the truth. These are public services to the American people. They provide public services to the American people. If you break it down, like, it's not only Democrats watch PBS and it's ridiculous. It is not. It is where people get their news, and people, there are there's amazing educational programming for children. There's nothing political about the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, right? So why do Republicans do that? Well, one, it's a culture war issue. Two, they don't care about their own constituents. It's another way to dismantle the information, the objective, neutral, nonpartisan information system. That's what it's about. They don't care if people in rural areas, the people who vote for them, no longer have access to neutral information. Why? They don't want them to have access to neutral information. They want them to be misinformed and disinformed. They want them to have access only to propaganda. Yes, it is very much like Nazi Germany. And that is where we're heading. Because that's one of the first things you do. You dismantle the systems that provide people with neutral and accurate reporting. Faith, super sticker, thanks so very much for that. Another riveting moment of typing. Hang on to your hats. I'm going to make it exciting for you. No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm actually mocking myself while I'm typing, so that should help. Okay, back to it. No more typing. Okay, Ghostly R59, thank you so very much. That's really generous of you. Really appreciate it. All right, 1,265 days, 6 hours, 50 minutes left. Fee. I like that fee. Thank you. Hi, Mary. Hello, Ghostly R59. Question: what's one habit that's helped your mental health more than anything else during the second round of chaos, besides petting a kitty cat, of course? Yeah, that's not habitual. That is just compulsory. By which I mean, I insist upon it. Okay, so a habit. I don't know if I can call it a habit. Let me think. I don't have enough habits, quite frankly. I used to. This is going to sound ridiculous, but there are two, and I'm not entirely sure if they're habits or just ways of doing things. Um, I I drink a lot of water. I know that sounds weird, but it's very important, right? I probably drink I easily drink over a gallon of water a day, probably closer to a gallon and a half, maybe 2. And when I was out in Arizona, I drank so much water that I had to start taking electrolytes because I kept getting Charlie horses. Um, the other thing, and again, I'm not sure if it's a habit, but I believe that one should sleep as long as one needs to. It's when people say, "Oh, sleep is for weak people," or you're lazy if you sleep 8 hours a night. You should only sleep 3. No, does anybody ever say that about breathing? You breathe too much. I think it makes you a loser. No, it's an important biological necessity. So again, not sure if those are habits. They're more like ways of being. But I need to get into, I had a lot of really good habits. I used to exercise like 2 hours every day, and that's gone by the wayside a bit. But, that in, I used to play the guitar, but, so I definitely need to get into some habits. So my recommendation is if you wanna start a habit, one, consistency is the key. Just start slow and do it a little bit every single day, no matter what it is. And I would say, focus on sort of like physical health, whether it's meditating or just being outside or breathing exercises or whatever. And the other thing, do something that's creative or, more on the mental health side of things. Learn how to play a musical instrument or paint or meditate or what have you. That would be my recommendation, but just based on my own experience, not because I know much about this stuff. Julia from Substack. Hello. Question: will America ever recognize Palestine as a state? Not this America, that's for sure. I don't know. I mean, I'm more concerned at this point we start starving people to death in Gaza. That is what I'm deeply, deeply concerned about right now. So the fact that that even has to be said just shows us how far down the slippery slope we are. Or that's even controversial for some people. Or not enough of a deal breaker. It's just amazing. Sarah, thank you so very much for that. In the middle of nowhere, thank you. That's very generous of you. Question: do you think California will be able to counter redistrict in order to offset Texas? Well, they should. The problem with blue states is that because they're blue states, they believe in rules. So in a state like California or New York, there are independent agencies have been set up to make sure that partisan gerrymandering doesn't get out of control. So if the Democrats in New York, for example, or say the Democrats in California, for example, tried to do what the Republicans or Texas are doing, that independent agency will not give them permission to do so. Whereas in Texas, Republicans can do whatever they want. See the problem? Yeah. Democrats, sometimes you should not play by the rules when the other side has set the rule book on fire. Just a thought. It's almost like if we continue to play by the rules, We're showing that we believe in democracy. But if playing by the rules leads to the destruction of democracy, what actually are you accomplishing? Deb, super sticker. Thanks so much, Deb. Bien, another super sticker. Thank you. That is awesome. Samantha, question. Is it safe to assume Donald would start a war to protect himself from the Epstein scandal? Okay. Very simple thing to know about Donald. If he thinks he's going down, he will take every single person on the planet with him. So yeah, he'll do whatever he feels he has to do and whatever is within his power to do, which at this point seems to be pretty much anything because the Republicans are just as bad and won't stop him. Whiskey Wench. Word on the street is that Donald and a few of his billionaire bros will be self-funding the swampy ballroom. Question, do we think that's true? No, we do not. And let's put it this way. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Donald is paying for it. Well, where did he get the $200 million? He stole it from us. Well, he definitely stole it from me. So there you go. All right. Jules plays Tap for Vets. Question. Oh, first of all, thank you very much. Question. What is your favorite kind of music to play on the guitar? And do you sing while you play? My husband and I play and sing 60s and 70s for fun. Okay. The only guitar teacher I ever had, my first guitar teacher and only guitar teacher, insisted from the second you started learning how to play the guitar, you had to play and sing at the same time, which is, if you just learn how to do one and then try to do both of them, it makes it infinitely more difficult. So I'm not suggesting anybody would want to listen to it, but I've always sung and played at the same time. My favorite kind of music to play, folk and classic rock, but also some blues. Jazz is impossible. Also, I didn't start playing until I was 40. So, that makes that's a little limiting, but I love it. And it just shows you guys it's never too late, ever. So yeah, those would be my two favorite kinds of music to play. Not classical. I'm not a classical guitar person. It's not. I love classical music, just not classical guitar. Denise, question. Can we keep the Epstein front and center and not go running down the latest, greatest rabbit hole? Yeah. I mean, what's fun about this, we've been covering Epstein every day since all of this started going on. At least once, if not twice, always in the live. And very often we have another video coming out during the day. But the fascinating thing about this, and the reason I think it's gaining traction, which is a sad commentary on the state of corporate news in this country, is that Donald's base is not letting it go. If it were just us, he could just dismiss it, right? It's his base that refuses to let him change the subject. And that's fun, quite frankly. Who would have thought that we would be on the same side? Obviously, the motives are completely different, but still. Flipping the script, thank you very, very much. Comment, Donald wants a ballroom just so he can have more balls. Or any. Just saying. Hashtag Griftalago. Yeah, no kidding. Denissa, question. A few minutes late, not sure if you'd address this. Did you hear that the Democrat officials in Texas are leaving the state and breaking quorum? Yes, I did. This is, as far as I'm aware, this is the second time this has happened in the last 5 or 10 years. So the Texas Republicans are trying to do horrific things, of course, as always. And the Democratic politicians in that state who must be present, even if the Republicans have a majority and can vote the way they want to vote, the Democrats have to be in the room and establish a quorum. So they are left the state, which I hope is a signal to national Democrats to get their acts together and start playing hardball. Thanks, Texas Democrats. Truly. Sabrina, Canadian in the house, elbows up. Oh, cool. It's a mean and nasty Canadian fee. You guys are mean and nasty. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Can you imagine being so out of touch and so culturally illiterate that you would call Canadians mean and nasty? I keep telling Donald not to look in the mirror when he's talking about other people. Dina, super sticker. Thank you so very much for that. LA woman in Vegas. Thank you. That's great. Comment. I'm perplexed as to why his goal is to hurt Americans. I don't actually think it's his goal so much as it's I mean, it's fun for him because he likes hurting people. But it's more that other things are more important to him. And if Americans are collateral damage on his way to getting more money and power, what does he care? Because he's a sadist and he likes it when people get hurt. Donna, wow, Donna, that is phenomenal. Thank you. We really appreciate that generosity. Thank you. Okay, comment. Mary, happy to have your back. Or you back? Either way, I definitely feel like you guys have my back. Missed you. I miss being here. I'm gonna tell you all about why I wasn't here next week. Okay, question. Did you hear that they are going to track us on our Amazon DoorDash and other online transactions at the beginning of the new year? Why is he so interested in my face care item, shampoo, and cat treats? Really? I'm guessing that's not what they're interested in. Although it does make it easier to micro target people in terms of advertising and stuff like that. But quite frankly, they have all of the information about us they need. So I'm not even sure why, unless it's just a more sophisticated data gathering system they're putting together. But they have all of our vital information, and I think it's important. And we just should be aware of that. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be careful, but I mean, like I get mail from total stranger, like handwritten mail addressed to my home from total strangers all the time. It's very easy, unfortunately, to find out things about other people. So I don't think this is necessarily more alarming. I'm not sure what other kind of information they need, but what I will say is that if the government starts giving away uh, tracking devices like to monitor your health, don't accept it ever. Although, quite frankly, if you have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, they probably do the same thing. So I don't know. Shauna, super sticker. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Elizabeth H from Substack. Thank you, Elizabeth. Question, Mary. What approach should reporters take to fact check 47 in real time? Flattery, just pushback. Mm, well, I mean, the problem with reporters who have to do the right is like too many of them care more about access than doing actual journalism. So they're not going to push back. And I'm not sure, like I don't fact checking Donald doesn't have anything to do with interacting with him, right? So I think only people who don't interact with him for the most part can fact check him because otherwise, if you are like, say, they're the White House press pool and you push back on him in real time, he just will never allow you in his vicinity again, right? News organizations, like if they, for example, they cover a rally or a cabinet meeting or whatever, you can fact check that in real time. The technology exists in order to do that. So start doing it because there's no excuse anymore. Or don't cover it. Don't show it. Don't show him lying again and again and again to the American people. Susan, moderator extraordinaire. Thank you very much as always. Gifted 5 Mary Trump Media memberships. That is phenomenal. Thank you. Danissa, thank you very much for that. Comment. I live in Columbus, Ohio. Cool. I was just there like 3 weeks ago. I remember a time when our state was so swingy that a president could not win the election without winning Ohio. Yeah, no kidding. Luckily, Columbus is very blue, and it's based on all of the construction I saw out there. That city is growing rapidly. Flipping the script. Thank you as always. Comment. Does Donald like boneless chicken wings? I'm going to take a sip of my water now. I thought I handled that brilliantly. Michelle, super sticker. Thank you so much, Michelle. Very kind. Kendra, thank you as always. Super sticker. Oh, I'm so sorry about my voice. It's really annoying. JP listed sold. Oh, cool. Thank you very much for that. Hi, Mary. Comment question. I would love your thoughts on this. I think he wants to build the ballroom because he has no intention of leaving and is trying to make the White House Mar-a-Lago 2.0. Well, he's definitely trying to make the White House Mar-a-Lago 2.0. I'm assuming most of you have not had the great displeasure of visiting Mar-a-Lago. It is hideous. Absolutely hideous. Yeah, I don't think he has any intention of leaving either. So, yep. But imagine having that kind of renovation make you feel more at home. That's weird. For example, I was down in DC and I was in the same neighborhood where Jeff Bezos has his pied-à-terre. And, for most of us, what a pied-à-terre is, it's a tiny little apartment people have. It's like a second home and it's tiny and inexpensive. So they have somewhere to stay if they visit another city frequently. Jeff Bezos's pied-à-terre is 5 interconnected freestanding buildings, and I think he paid $50 million for it. If that's what you need, there's something deeply, deeply, deeply wrong with you. Kim, super sticker. Thank you so very much, Kim. Lizzie Beth, thank you as always. Question. What if Gaza offered Donald the same bribe as Netanyahu? Build your big hotel with your name on it right after you recognize us. Yeah. Yeah, well, Donald is always gonna side with Netanyahu. So, and he doesn't need them to offer them anything. And that is another part of that tragedy. Jimmy, my goodness. Jimmy, thank you as always. That is phenomenal and very much appreciated. Thank you. Nanner, thank you as always. Gifted 5 Mary Trump Media memberships. Fantastic. RGR, question. What do you think about the 39% tariff for Switzerland? It's insane. It's insane. I don't know what else to say. It's irrational. It's unjustified. And it's going to damage our trade relationship with an ally. And it's going to make anything that comes from Switzerland more expensive for Americans. And oh, well, so what? Like what comes from Switzerland? I don't know. Watches, perhaps, chocolate, Nespresso machines. I mean, I don't know, enough that it will impact plenty of people. More than anything, it will give Switzerland more incentive to find other trading partners and leave us out of it entirely. Jenny, super sticker, thank you very much. My voice is now cracking. It's weird. Susan, thank you again. That's fantastic. Comment, thank you to this awesome community. Great questions. Appreciate you all. Yes, indeed. I also appreciate all of you. Alyssa, another super sticker. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Coco Pups 52. Thank you. That's awesome. Comment, my first donation. Love your books and your bravery. Stands tall and stay well. Well, thank you. That's extremely kind of you. Question, would you ever leave the U.S. if things got wonky enough? I might, but not yet. I'm not imagining such a scenario. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I haven't thought about it. My biggest concern is when I travel abroad that I'm not going to be allowed back in, quite frankly. I mean, I don't think if it's within one's means, I don't think it's wrong to have a plan. But no, I'm not taking any active steps. I'm just being careful and I'm keeping my eyes wide open. But of course, I don't want to leave and I don't intend to. I also don't believe, because I know some people have left, like Timothy Schneider left, Jason Stanley is left. These are experts in fascism. They know of where they speak, obviously. And they got criticized. I'm like, first of all, we don't know. We don't know what kind of threats people are getting or what kind of knowledge they might have. And secondly, like that suggests that what we can't fight if we're not in the country. Let's put it this way, like how useful would I be if I actually got sent to prison, right? I'm pretty sure I could be more effective if I were in Canada or the UK. I mean, I am seriously, seriously hoping it doesn't come to that, but I just think it's wrong to one, to criticize people for leaving if they feel that their lives are in danger somehow, and two, to suggest that that means that they've taken themselves out of the fight, because I don't believe that's true at all. Sir Ed Fonseca, super sticker, thank you very much. Fabulous. And LA Woman in Vegas, thank you again. Question, do you think Stephen Miller is really calling shots? Yes, I do, especially when it comes to immigration policy and all of the of those horrors. He is a Nazi through and through. And unlike Donald, he is cognitively intact. That doesn't mean he's not a monster and a sociopath, but he knows what he's doing. So yes, I do indeed think Stephen Miller, of all people. And that is something for which Donald must be condemned for all time. All right, finally, we're done. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Everybody watching on YouTube, streaming on Twitter, and on my Substack, The Good in Us. It was great to have everybody here. It's great to be back. I will be back. It's Sunday, obviously. So I will be back tomorrow night for Mary Trump Live. That's 6 p.m. Eastern every weeknight, Monday through Friday. And the easiest way, we are literally like this close. I don't know if you can see how thin that is. It's 450,000 subscribers. Our next goal is 500,000. So easiest way to support us is just subscribe to our channel. It's free, and it gives you access to all of our public videos on our YouTube channel. The next best way that's also free is just we drop at least one or two, mostly two, most often two, sometimes 3 extra videos every single day. So like them, share them, watch them, like them, share them, comment on them. That helps us so tremendously. Like if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see the viewership numbers, and the higher those are, the better it is from us. The higher the likes, the higher the comments, not the higher, the more likes, the more comments, all of that stuff really, really, really matters. So please, that would be phenomenal. And we also have paid subscriberships, which you can check out those levels also on the homepage. Just look under subscriptions. That's another way. So to everybody who becomes a new member, to everybody who, sorry, who, I'm choking. Give me 1 second. I'm not going to type at least this time. Everybody who gifts memberships, everybody who becomes a super sticker, who just gives us gifts in general, you guys, so important to us. We appreciate it more than we could say. Very quickly, speaking of new members, Coco Puffs 52 is a new member. Thank you and welcome. To our phenomenal moderators, and as always, to I'm running out of adjectives, but my brilliant team, which on Sunday nights means Mercedes, who's solo and who's putting up with my bad typing and my sometimes misinformation, which is always unintentional. But she always manages to make me correct the record. So Mercedes, thank you so much. It's great to be back. I will see you guys tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And again, don't forget our videos during the day. In the meantime, everybody, please hydrate, stay safe, and be kind. Bye.